The Hollow. Where Names Go. Carlos Carrasquero. The first child forgot her name on a Thursday. It slipped from her mouth like a dropped coin and rolled somewhere no one could see. She stood in the schoolyard with her hands clenched in her sleeves, trying to answer when the teacher called on her, but all that came out was a thin, frightened sound. By evening, she did not recognize her own reflection. By morning, she no longer recognized her mother. The village of Alderow had always feared the forest, but this was new. At the edge of the trees there was a hollow, a shallow bowl in the earth where nothing grew. No grass, no weeds, no insects. The old people said it had been there longer than they could remember. The children said it was where the ground breathed. On certain nights, when the air felt thick and metallic, a murmur rose from it. Not loud, not clear, just enough to make dogs whine and lantern flames bend toward the trees. After the first child forgot her name, others followed. A baker woke before dawn and could not remember the word for bread. A hunter returned from the woods and did not know why he carried a bow. A woman stared at her husband across the supper table and felt only the vague unease one feels toward a stranger who stands too close. The priest declared it a sickness of the mind. The doctor bled 3 men and prescribed rest. Nothing changed. The forgetting spread like frost across glass, delicate and unstoppable. It was Mara who noticed the pattern. She was not the bravest in the village, nor the most clever, but she was the only one who kept a journal. When her brother forgot her face, she wrote down the exact hour. When the baker forgot the word for bread, she wrote that down too. She marked each loss on a rough map of Alderow. Every mark pointed toward the forest. On the night the murmur grew louder than the wind, Mara walked alone to the hollow. She carried no lantern. The dark felt alive, as if it pressed its damp palms against her eyes. The trees creaked and shifted, their branches tangling overhead like ribs knitting shut. The hollow waited. Up close, it seemed deeper than it should have been. The earth sloped inward at a gentle angle, but the center swallowed light. The murmur rose from within, layered and soft. Mara strained to hear words. At first, she thought it was nonsense. Then she realized it was not speaking to her. It was speaking as them. Hundreds of voices overlapped in a broken choir. She heard the baker whisper bread with desperate longing. She heard her brother say her name, over and over, as if trying to keep it warm. She heard the first child crying for a word she could not shape. The hollow was not taking names, it was keeping them. Mara stepped closer. The ground shifted beneath her boots, loose as ash. The murmur grew eager. A new voice brushed the edge of the sound, thin and trembling. Mara. Her own name, spoken from below. She tried to step back, but the soil gave way. Cold earth swallowed her ankles, then her knees. The voices rose in pitch, no longer mournful but hungry. They pressed against her thoughts, prying at memories like fingers at a locked door. She felt her name loosen inside her chest. In the village, the forest fell silent. By morning, the hollow looked unchanged. The earth was smooth. The trees stood still. In Alderow, no one remembered a girl who kept a journal. No one noticed the space on a shelf where a book had once rested. But on certain nights, when the air tastes of metal and the wind forgets its way, a new voice joins the murmur in the hollow. It says a name. It says Mara.